This is Joanne from Yarn with Joanne, and I'm going to show you how to do this easy rib crochet hat. It's worked in half trebles back and forth in this direction with some double crochet at the top. So you can make it with a brim or without a brim, and you can make it with a pom-pom or without the pom-pom as you wish. And working into the back loop only gives you this nice rib effect along here. So it's about half trebles up to here, and then double crochet up here, and then working back, double crochet to here, half trebles along, and so on, until you get the width of the hat that you want. So the pattern here is available on the Yarn with Joanne Ravelry website, and it's free to download, so you can do that at any stage. I made this one in Signet Chunky yarn, and used a 6mm hook, and I'm going to make a small, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to make a newborn 0 to 3 month one, and again I'm going to use a chunky yarn. This time it is Stylecraft Softy, and I'm going to use the 6mm hook again. But because of the way the pattern is worked out, you can actually use iron weight, any weight of yarn at all. So first of all, you need to decide what size you're going to do. So there's a guide to average hat sizes here. But if you can measure the person's head circumference, you just do that, you know, across the forehead and just above the ears, and that'll let you know exactly what their head circumference is. But this is a guide. So the head circumference of a newborn is 38, around average 38 centimeters. You don't want the hat to be as wide as that, because you want it to be kind of a bit stretchy, a bit of what we call negative ease, so that you can stretch it over the head and have a snug fit. So we're suggesting that the width of the hat should be 33 centimeters. Average length for a newborn hat is 13 centimeters, and with a turn up it's 18 centimeters. So I'm going to do one with a turn up, so I need to do a chain that is about 18 centimeters. So I've done that here, and that's worked out to be 24 stitches, 24 chain. So moving on to the next page, then there's a formula here that helps you work out how many of your chain should be done in half treble and how many should be done in the double crochet, and it's about 80% of your stitches should be half treble, and 20% should be, or a fifth should be double crochet. So I had 24 stitches. It's not quite 5 5s. So what I'm going to do is do 4 double crochet and 20 half trebles. That's, you know, it's near enough for me. And so what I'm going to do is, it'll end up this shape, the chain along here. I'm going to half treble up here, double crochet here, turn round, double crochet here, half treble down here, until I get 33 centimeters in width, or what will become the circumference of the hat. So I'll just pop that out of the way. And as I say, I have already done 24 chain. I need to do one additional chain, which is a turning chain, and it does not count as a stitch at any stage. So now I'm going to do a half treble. So if you haven't done a half treble before, and the other thing is that I'm going to do them in the back loop only. So normally when I'm telling you to work into your bottom chain, I'm saying, you know, work down into the bottom. In this case, we're just going to work under that loop at the top. Okay. So a half treble is similar to a treble. It's just one change. So you put your yarn round, in through that top loop, grab your yarn, bring it through, grab the yarn, and instead of bringing it through 2 and 2, you just bring it through all 3. So do that again, yarn round, in through the stitch, right, grab the yarn, bring it out through the stitch, yarn round, and bring it through all 3. Once more, yarn round, in through the stitch, grab the yarn, bring it out through the stitch, yarn round, through all 3. So I'm just going to continue on along. That's, I have to do 20 of these. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, seems to be taking me a long time to get there, but 19, one more is 20, and I should have left 4 at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I should follow my own tips on the pattern. It talks about leaving a fairly long tail here so that you can use it to bring the top together. So I didn't do that. So if you're starting yours and you haven't started yet, if you can just leave a bit of a longer tail, it'll save you having to use an additional bit of yarn that's already attached in there for you. So now I'm just going to continue doing 4 double crochet. 1 in the back loop still. So double crochet, if you remember, is no yarn round to start with, just in, out and through 2, in, grab the yarn, out, round and through 2, in, grab the yarn, out, round and through 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochet. Now some people find that it's hard to work out where the last stitch is when you're going back and forth. So a little tip for that is, if you do a chain, turn round to go back, go into that first back loop. We're doing double crochet, remember, 4 double crochet along this way. Just work that double crochet and then pop a stitch marker in through the front loop as you look at it from this side, because when you're coming back again, that's going to be your last stitch in this row. So you're going to know that you've got every stitch and it's not going to kind of go a funny shape on you. So 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet, and then I'm doing half trebles. So again, in order to help you mark that spot, I find it easiest just to pop in a different color of yarn in between those stitches, so that when you're coming back up, you're not always having to count. It's not so bad when you're doing a tiny hat like this, but maybe when you're doing a bigger one, you're flying along and before you realize it, you've done half trebles right past the spot where you're supposed to be doing your doubles. So you can see this bit's going to be wider and this bit's going to be narrower. Just continuing with half trebles into the back loop only. Now again, when you're looking at half double crochet, it can look like that's the back loop, but really you need to turn it up to the top, and you can see the V's up at the top and you're going into that back loop there. So yarn round into the back loop. Just working along to the end. Now you can see that when I get to the end, it can be difficult to see where I'm going with that last one. I know that it's in there, but if I had put a wee stitch marker in there, it would have been easier to see. So again, if I do a turning chain half trebles again at this, working up this side. Just work that stitch. Take your stitch marker, pop it through. This yarn splits a bit, so I'm just trying to be careful with it there. And then I'm going to half treble along to there. Then I can know that I'm double crocheting, and I can pop that up over the top, double crochet to the end, and you can see clearly there 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where my last stitch is going to do. So the stitch markers really help you to keep your edges straight. So I'm going to continue on half trebling, double crochet, half treble, and continue on until I get 33 centimeters in width this way, and then I'll catch up with you there. So I'm now happy that I've got the 33 centimeters in length here, and now I want to join it up together. So you can see that it is, I don't know, is that a rhombus shape? It's narrower at this end where we've done the double crochet, and wider at the end where we're finishing off with the half trebles. And we've got these lovely ridges, which gives this rib sort of stretchy fabric for us. So what we want to do now is turn it over this way, having the yarn out towards the back, because we're going to slip stitch the two sides together. So having the tail to the front, and you can see that the yarn is coming out the back from the back end of the work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch through the chain. That first one's going to be a wee bit awkward, she says, to get through. Now. There we go, slip stitch through that and through the back loop again. Okay, so slip stitch, if you remember, just means put the yarn round and bring it through everything. First one's probably going to be the hardest one to do. So you can see the V, and we want to go through, this is the chain of where we started, and then through the back loop of the equivalent stitch, and just slip stitch. Let's just grab the yarn and bring it through everything. So through the V again, or sorry, through the end of the chain and through the back loop there, and we're just going to keep doing that till we get to the very bottom. And of course we have 24 of these to do. So this is going to be the wrong side of the work now. So what you can see here is got quite a nice neat little line up there, and then on the inside what you can see is that it just matches in perfectly, and you're not going to notice where that join is. So I'm going to continue along to the end here, and I'll catch up with you then. So we've just got along to the end now, and I've got one more chain here to go through, and because I've got that little stitch marker in at the beginning of that row, I can see clearly where the last slip stitch goes. So pop the hook in there, take the stitch marker out, and do my last slip stitch. Okay, and now I can finish that off. Leave a long enough tail to be able to sew it in. Just do another chain and put it on through, and that secures that nicely. And now she knocks the video. I'm going to thread my yarn needle here and just weave in that end. So I'll just go up through, back and forth a bit, up that way. Making sure don't pull it too tight. Go back on itself, bringing it out about there. That's nice and secure now. I can just snip that off. And now, if you remember, it said to leave, if I followed my own top tips, I would be able to use this, because I've not left a long enough tail, I don't think, to go right round in there. I'm going to have to just cut at length, which is a bit of a shame really, because that means I've another 2 tails to darn in. But there you go, you live and hopefully you learn. So I want to join this in, probably doesn't matter where you join it in, I'll maybe go round here, and if I want to join something in, I'll go in and out a couple of times down that way. Just bring it up to the end like that, and then over on itself and back up to the end, and that should be nice and secure now, not going anywhere. So really what I do is gather the top of this hat in like this, and I'm going to do that just by catching this top stitch here the whole way around. So in through there, 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 there. I can pull that on through a bit and continue on round, just catching that top loop the whole way around. And when you get right round again, here we are, back to the beginning again. Okay, so you can see I've caught it the whole way around. I just want to pull it really, really tight now. See? Just making that really as tight. And then to secure it, I will go on round again in the same direction, just catching the top bits of yarn there, like so. And when I'm happy that it's really nice and close and tight, fairly happy that's the case at the minute, then I'll go back over one loop like that and go round in the opposite direction, just to make sure that it's not going to come out on me. And I can cut that off nice and neat like that. If I was, I would darn this other bit in before cutting that off. If I was doing a pom-pom, I would leave it attached. I'm not doing a pom-pom on the baby's hat. I pop the pom-pom on there, bring the needle through, catch it and gather it in like that. So you can see now, that is, unfortunately you can hear my little pup that she's around. That's the hat finished, and that's a newborn. And the good thing about doing a brim on a newborn is you can start off with it up here when it's tiny, and it can grow with it a wee bit, just like that. That's quite a pretty wee hat, isn't it? So have fun with your hats. Thanks for watching.